Hello and welcome back to Evolve Models with me, Chris. Today we're taking a look at a Takom kit, which is the Skoda P82, better known as the Turtle. Kit number is 2024 and it's a 1/35th scale. It's quite an actual big kit itself. It's quite a nice one to work on, and the part numbers in here is roughly around about 120 parts, so it's a nice little kit to be getting on with. Not quite a weekend project if you're doing camo like this, but you know, a smaller sort of car, easier to get ahead with, and not sit on the shelf for ages, and it does look like something a bit different. I'm a fan of kits that are slightly different, some of the weirder World War II stuff, so it looks like a cracking little kit. There are essentially two camo options for this that we can see on the side of the box. We've got this camouflage version here, and also at the top we can see a plain grey version. Now, what I believe is there were 12 of these made. 3 of them went to a police force, I believe it was Venice, it tells me on the inside I believe, and the other ones went somewhere else. So if we just take the top off, well actually we'll have a quick look around the box. So we've got the camo versions here. Paints are provided, well, paint colours are provided by MIG here. We've got the normal MIG ammo colours on here. Takom seem to have teamed up well with MIG for painting and colour options, which is nice to see. We've got a picture on the side here of some of the sprues. So there's not many sprues in here. I counted roughly around about 120 parts, and the obligatory advertising on the side for other stuff. And on here we've got another option for, sorry, not the other option, the camo markings on there, so we can have a look at that. So it's not a massive kit, so it's not going to take too long to razz through this, but let's dive into the box and have a look. First up then, we've got the instruction book, which we can have a quick look at here. I'll just take him out. We've got some other bits and bobs on the back here as well. Normal Takom packaging, really good. Everything was flat and doesn't seem like anything's bent or warped so far. We've got a Deckhouse sheet there, which we'll come back to, and some clear parts. 2 booklets in here. We've got looks like a painting guide and some information about the Skoda. So the Skoda P82 was developed by Skoda based on the feedback on their PA1. Design was featured rounded armour plate, a rare sight at the time, which earned its nickname. So it is a pretty funny looking vehicle, which is what drew me to it essentially. Production started 1923, 12 units ordered. It was never accepted into official service. Instead, Vienna's police force purchased 3 of the vehicles in 1927. The remaining 9 vehicles were purchased by the Czech police in 1937, and when the Germans took over Czechoslovakia, they took over the PAs in 1939, and it was used as an armoured radio vehicle. So we've got a nice little booklet here by the looks of it. As normal with Takom, we've just got all the obligatory assembly information and read before getting started on the kit. We've got sprue layouts here. We've got 2 of the large sprues, 2 of that large sprues, 1 hull section, some clear parts, rubber wheels and decals. So not a massive kit at all, which is really good. Obviously if you've been watching my King Tiger build, that is taking forever and ever. It's nice to do something a bit smaller. Nice graphics on here for the build by the looks of it. Nothing too strenuous by the looks of it. Probably going to have to do a bit of clean up on some of these edge parts as normal, but as we've not got 50,000 little pieces to put together, we should be able to razz through this quite quickly. On to part 2. Again, pretty simple instructions here. Some of these we're making 2 of. Graphics look quite good, showing us everything that we need to see. Nothing too taxing there. Top hull section here. Again, probably just going to need a little bit of clean up, a bit of filler with these, I reckon, when they go together. When you're putting smooth surfaces like this together, sometimes we need to use a bit of filler. And for panel gaps as well, probably just mark to re-etch those out. But again, on top of the, I'm going to call turret or dome section, a few pieces need to go on there, and we've got some of the machine guns that are going to need to be built up. Full hull section put together there, lights going on the front or back, can't tell which way this thing is. There looks pretty simple, some bumpers, and then we've got the top hull section on there going on top, and it's going to be quite a smooth kit. Is the bodywork, it's like plated steel. I'm guessing it didn't move too swiftly with the amount of steel on top of an engine that was probably about 50-60 horsepower. Again, not too bad. Inner wheel arches. And then we've got putting the body, or the marriage as it's called, of the body to the chassis, and the hoop that goes around the top. Nothing too extravagant in there at all. And this other book that's come with it, or booklet, I think is a painting guide, I guess. Let's move them out of the way. Okay, so essentially we've got a couple of different painting marks, if we try and get that all on camera. So we've got a couple of different options here. We've got Police HQ, we've got Training Squadron, Assault Vehicle Regiment in Mill of Ice, Assault Vehicle Mill of Ice, 1925 to 32, get a different one. And then we have the German paint markings here. Again, looks really nice. If you wanted to cheat, you could really just go for the grey, do some nice modulation on there and it would look fantastic. I fancy doing one of these camo markings. I've got some ideas of how to do some of the lines around there. If we zoom in, I don't know how well it'll pick it up. It picks it up better on the front picture, which we'll have a look at in a minute. But all this camo section, round some of them, is a faint black line, or red it is on the picture, outlining a load of these. It's got to be a bit of a challenge to do that and get it looking nice. But essentially, this thing is about painting. It's not a builder's kit, is it? It's, you know, it's a painting kit. We've got the centre of the wheels to do as well, which is all looking good there. If we just go back to the actual box itself, you'll see what I mean about some of the paintwork on here. Around this blue section here, we've got this very, very fine red line that goes around the outside. That's going to be fun to do on there, and we've got it around a load of these as well. It looks like it's almost like a German primer red, which we should have in the MRP paints to do this, so I'm looking forward to this. And we've got it on the centre of the wheels as well. Then we could go to town on this with, zoom back out a bit, we could go to town a bit with this on the painting itself. It does look like a fantastic painter's kit. So we'll put this down and we'll have a look inside the box and see what the sprues are like. First up, we've got the hull section here, or the body, whatever we want to call it. It's a good, fairly good piece of plastic. It isn't going anywhere. No sign of any warping on there. Just having a look around for some marks. We've got some seam line marks in here. You could possibly see them, but they ain't going to take much to clean up at all. A lot of good detail on there. Got a lot of rivet detail if you try and zoom in a bit more. There we go. See the rivet detail on the side there is looking nice and crisp. Obviously we've got the dome turret thing to go on top, which is going to obviously finish it off nicely. Got some doors on the front. I can't remember if that was the entrance or exit. I thought they got in by the side of the vehicle. And actually in pictures I've seen, this flap comes down and you can almost see the legs underneath in there, sitting on top of the chassis. On the front again, nice crisp detail, nothing to complain about here. Got the lights that need to go on the front, and we've got the grille inside there. What I'll do is I will have a look and see if they are cut out. If so, we might have to cut these out and make them look more realistic in there, because there must obviously be air vents for something. And again, all the detail around here, the rivets really pop nicely, and once we've got some paint on there, they should look pretty fantastic too. So that's all looking nice. A few little marks down here which we'll need to take care of, but absolutely nothing major at all. And as I say, it's a good solid piece of plastic. We're not going to have any problem gluing to this. It's fairly chunky and some good surface area. Also, rubber wheels. I've seen some reviews in the past that say that these aren't the best wheels in the world, but at the end of the day, they look so far so good. The proof will be in the pudding when we get them on the actual hubs themselves. But as far as I can see thus far, nice tread on them, good set of wheels, look alright. So we have in here, we have two identical sprues. Let's zoom you back out a bit. There we go. Two identical sprues here, so we'll only take a look at one. Got chassis floor section, inner wheel arches and probably outer wheel arches, something like that, or no, part of the turret section on there, and the hoop that goes around the top of the vehicle at the end. And we got some bits here as well. I think they were suspension, if I remember rightly. Hoops, relatively thin. Not seeing too much cleanup needed on this at all. Again, great detail on these parts. this should go together quite quickly. And say, really is a painter's kit, I think, especially when you're doing the camouflage on there. It's all looking good. Can't see any problems with those at all, and nothing that you really can't get a sanding stick into or a file to clean up anyway. So that's all looking wicked. Got 2 of those, and then we have 2 of these pieces as well. I must admit, it'll be nice to build a kit that hasn't got 14,000 parts in it. I'm looking forward to this. We have the centre of the wheels, the wheel hub sections by the looks of it there. We've got suspension, leaf swing suspension, probably some suspension arms. Machine guns come in 2 parts. Obviously we're sticking them together to make one complete one, and what could be either a top or diff case or something along those lines. The small parts up here, if we have a zoom in, see how good these are. They look pretty good. There's nothing too minute in here, and there's nothing really that would require any photo etch pieces rather than these plastic ones. It doesn't look bad at all, this. Again, should be relatively easy to clean up, and no major markings anywhere. Injector pin marks, but we're not going to see any of these anywhere, so not going to worry about that. But generally, that all looks absolutely fantastic. So, just zoom out a bit there. Some clear parts. Generally, the lenses for the lights looking pretty clear. I don't know if you can see that. See if we can zoom in. They're looking pretty much crystal clear. No mark on there at all. Optically good, so no problems with that at all. And the last thing we've got with these is the Deckhouse Sheet, which I'm just going to try and open up. Ooh. Got a Deckhouse Sheet here. Does it tell me who they're by? No, we've got obviously the German markings on here, and we've got the Czechoslovakian ones as well. They're all looking pretty sweet, to be fair. Not too thick. Doesn't say it's cartograph or anyone on there. It looks like it's got the Takom logo, but hey ho, they look like good Deckhouse. Can't see any problem with those whatsoever. Not too many decals to go on this vehicle, so we shouldn't be here all day decaling like I was with the Spitfire. Seems to have thousands. That looks all good. So, let me just zoom out a bit. That is the Takom Skoda PA2 Turtle. Say, number of colours, options on here you can go for. I think I'm going to go for the camo one, give myself a bit of a painting challenge. Looks like a cracking little kit. It's a painter's kit, not a builder's kit by the looks of it. Looks really good, can't wait to get started. Thanks for joining me for a quick review of this kit.